You, I have been away, and personally, I don't think SmackDown was very good, but I will put it in my Wrestling Weekly Roundup show, which will be happening after NXT. But Monday Night Raw, on the other hand, was another fire show. We started off with main event, Jeyuso. Honestly, this title looks so good on him, but this show had me worried, and there's reasons why. Mr. Old Paul Heyman, the wobbly walrus, the snake, the sniveling bastard who lowbowed CM Punk, lowbowed Roman Reigns, interrupted main event Jey Uso. I was getting very nervous straight away. Paul Heyman tried his best to manipulate Jey, talked about how Roman Reigns just didn't treat Jey well at all. And do you know what, Paul? For 10 minutes, we're chatting absolute facts. Everyone needs to remember how Roman Reigns treated Jey Uso at the beginning. He bullied him into joining the bloodline. He forced him to do a Hell in a Cell match where he puts his family basically on the line. And if he lost, he had to fall in line. And yes, so we got the greatest Jey Uso singles run of ever. And it was the catalyst that started the main event Jey Uso push, where fans started to not boo him, they wanted to cheer him even when he was a heel. And finally, when he made the face turn, it was crazy. But Paul made some incredibly good points. He said that, Jey, you are a good world champion, but Seth Rollins needs that world championship. And again, it messed with Jey's mind. It started to get the crash out Jey, which fans kind of want to see. They want to see less of the, yeah. Which is a cool line, I get it, but at the same time, the fans online are like, we want the Jey, the right-hand man back. I'm in the middle of like, I like both. I think if you combine the two, right-hand man and G, you've got a perfect version of Jey Uso. Heyman was like, I'm going to do you a favor though. You can choose the time, you can choose the place. Now later in the show, this was the plan. Seth knew that Jey was going to buy it. Hook, line, and sinker, and he did. He really did buy it. Jey was like, anytime, any place, I'm going to take you on one-on-one Omaha tonight. And yeah, Jey, he stood his ground. It was a great promo from Jey. And again, he looked so dripped out with the championship and the chain. It's perfect for the moment. And we kind of forgot about the whole Logan Paul feud. Have they scrapped that? I would love if they've scrapped it. Heyman was like, look, do you want to do this tonight? Jey's like, I want to do it right tonight in the main event. And it kind of shocked Heyman, but in fact, he was just acting. Jey kind of fell for it. And would Jey Uso be able to retain the World Heavyweight Championship? That was me thinking, oh my God, they're taking it off him on Monday Night Raw. We're not doing Logan versus Jey at Backlash. I was like, do you know what? 50-50? I don't mind that now. Little did I know what we were going to get. Some Bloodline Roll shit in the main event. Penta Cielo Miedo defeated JD McDonough with a bunch of interferences from the Judgment Day, from Chad Gable. But I will talk about someone very important to the whole Dom storyline in a second. We went backstage to Seth and Paul Heyman, and it was like, yep, Jey bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Seth was like, I told you so. Also, by the way, Braun and Heyman, what is it with you, Lou, and spray tan? Like, god damn it, take away the fake spray tan. Kevin always even sent out a tweet saying, do I need to get fake spray tan to get into this group, or was Seth going to get the orange spray tan soon? I love Kevin. I miss Kevin. But it was made official for the main event. Jey Uso will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins. This is Jey Uso's first defense of the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, it kind of rolls back because in 2023, Jey Uso had a chance to become the World Heavyweight Champion. He faced off against Seth freaking Rollins. And Seth and Jey had probably one of the better matches of Jey's career. And without a doubt, the main event on tonight's Raw was Jey Uso's best singles match in his career, no questions asked. Let's talk about Finn Balor. What is this dirty man up to? Because later on the show, he was found talking to Roxanne Perez backstage, and a lot of people were circulating online thinking, what if he's trying to get Roxanne and Julia to go after Liv and Raquel? What if Finn is not a fan of Liv Morgan at all, because it's now Dom's Judgment Day and Liv's Judgment Day. I hear it. I see it. I'm very much hearing that Finn Balor wants out the Judgment Day. He wore the Dom shirt, but knowing that means I'm about to turn on you, stab you in the back, this, lot, and that. I think originally the plan was to have Finn the babyface, but Dom's getting cheered too much. Also, even JD McDonald's getting cheered more than Finn now. But yeah, Penta picked up the win. Austin Theory would have a match next. Originally it was going to be Grayson Waller, but after finding out the opponent, Grayson Waller decided he would give it to Austin Theory. It was the returning Sheamus. Finally, Sheamus is back in WWE. I don't know where he's been. I think he may have been injured or just benched for a while. Who knows? But Sheamus and Austin Theory had a great match. Theory gave the look of disapproval to Grayson Waller, now realising why Waller didn't want to fight Sheamus. For the billionth time, is Austin Theory finally going to have that babyface turn, which the crowd, the fans, everyone have been wanting to see for the last 2 to 3 years? Probably not, I wouldn't get my hopes up. But this was a really good match. Theory's great in the ring. Sheamus is great in the ring. Sheamus picked up the win. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta was made official for Backlash. Dominic Mysterio's second defense as the Intercontinental Champion. I'm a bit worried. I like Penta, I really do. I really do like Penta, but I am a bit worried. I think Dom's going to lose. Because I don't see what title changes are on Backlash apart from one of the Intercontinental Championships. Yes, of course, the United States title was made official, but I don't think Jigga Fatu is losing that title unless they're ready to build up the feud between him and Solo Sikoa, and Jacob gets costed by Solo accidentally or on purpose. Dom could get cost by Finn Balor. Lyra could be cost by Bayley. There's a lot of could be cost. And then you've got Pat McAfee versus Gunter, not a championship match. And then obviously the main event, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the Undisputed Championship. Jey Uso is not on Backlash. He will not be featuring on Backlash. I think Jay's next match will be Money in the Bank, where he loses the title. And that's the championship match. Backstage stuff with a Judgment Day. AJ Styles somehow makes his way in because he asked R-Truth how to get in. Love that we're still having R-Truth kind of involved. Dom basically says to Finn, can you just take care of AJ Styles? And Finn's like, you want me to take care of it? Oh, no, don't worry about it, Dom. Finn, we know what you're doing, mate. You're not slick with it. We know you're going to turn on Dom. Look, I don't know. Becky Lynch came out next for her promo with Lyra Valkyria. And all I will say is, whatever the fans say, Becky could win the title, and I don't think there's a problem with that. Lyra Valkyria has had a great promo, and this is Lyra's time to shine in the mic. Shine on the stage and the lights of everything. Do I think Bayley gets involved in the Intercontinental Championship match for the women? Possibly, but what if she turns on Lyra Valkyria and joins Becky Lynch? You'd have a double group of super strong heel woman on the roster. Because you've got no Liv Morgan now. Rhea Ripley seems to be a face, even though she's still, for me, a heel. You've got Roxanne Perez and Julia, who are NXT stars who keep coming up to Raw, who are losing every single week, by the way. But I'm loving how well they're being used, I guess. You've just got rid of a bunch of tag teams from the releases, which, again, Wrestling Weekly Roundup, we'll be getting into the releases. Jesus Christ, we're getting into that stuff. So I don't mind having a Bayley and Becky super heel kind of mini faction, or just a tag team. I thought Becky Lynch might join Paul Heyman's group with Seth, because it's interesting how both of them turn heel on the same weekend. But, you know, it could be Bayley. Lyra has a great promo, okay? I've got to be honest, Lyra's promos have been brilliant. Now, there is no other real competitors for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, apart from Ivy Nile and maybe Zoe Stark. There is no women's tag teams left in the WWE, basically, now. We've got rid of Dakota Kai, which I just don't understand why we've got rid of Dakota. I don't think it was a Triple H decision either, because that was one of the first people Triple H brought back. She was one of his gals. But Lyra, great promo. She laid out Becky Lynch, which makes me really think Becky is going to become the Women's Intercontinental Champion because of the stupid theory I always have when if someone lays them out and is standing on top of the Go Home show, they normally don't win, unless you're Roman Reigns. Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky was up next. Now, after last week's phenomenal tag team match between Julia and Roxanne versus Jordan Grace and Io Sky, we all needed to see this singles match. And it's fair to say this singles match was absolutely brilliant yet again. Io Sky is so good in the ring. MVP of 2025, she's up there. I'd say she's above Liv Morgan. Even though I'm a biased Liv Morgan fan, I would say Io's the top women's wrestler of 2025. Yet another fantastic match. Roxanne Perez lost, unfortunately, to a roll-up. But it wasn't like a clean loss because, roll-ups are not fully clean wins. She didn't get pinned off the finisher. She then shook Io Sky's hand, but that would lead to Julia attacking. And Julia and Roxanne Perez would end up laying out Io Sky, which sets up for a match next week on Raw, which is going to be mad. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne Perez in a tag team match. Personally, this should have been a backlash. As well as on SmackDown, we're going to have Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax, number one contendership for the Women's Championship. I don't understand. Are we having 5 matches at Backlash? So what? Tiffany's defending her title against Nia on a SmackDown again? Why? But put some respect in the champions. Io Sky is also not on Backlash, which sucks. I don't know. Backlash seems like a missable pay-per-view right now. Rusev killed the Alpha Academy. Just wanted to tell you that. He killed Otis and he killed Tozawa. Yeah, I don't mind the gimmick so far. He's like a monster heel, which I guess could go after the Intercontinental Championship. The Raw Tag Team Division, by the way, as well on this show, not great. Pat McAfee and Gunther's promo was actually very good. I quite like Pat McAfee on the mic when he's not on the commentary desk. Because when he's on the commentary desk, he annoys me a lot. He says some stupid stuff which you can't always get away with. Gunther's mic work's always been brilliant. Gunther should murder him, basically. Backlash, Gunther should kill him. I'll literally make Pat tap out to death. Not really. There's been rumors about Goldberg apparently costing Gunther. I will lose my shit if Goldberg returns up at Backlash. Pat McAfee cannot win that. Pat McAfee cannot win this. So it's set, man. We got to the main event. Seth freaking Rollins versus main event jeyuso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth came out obviously with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. And look, there's some people saying, oh, this is just a knockoff Death Riders. No, it's not. It's better. It's much better because they actually have good matches. Not like John Moxley walking around going, oh, I need to push him on the top rope. And I don't hate AEW, by the way. I think AEW is thriving right now. I'm enjoying some of their stuff. I just don't review it because I can't be arsed. But I've enjoyed most of their stuff. But John Moxley stuff, it puts me to sleep. Seth Rollins, though, no. Seth, it just needs to put the spray tan on, I guess. So it's just, is the name going to be the Spray Tan Men? Maybe. This was an amazing match. A lot of people will probably complain about how there's always a DQ finish every single week on Raw. And I'm going to be one of those people to say, I didn't give a damn that this was a DQ. A freaking banger match gets ruined by DQ sometimes will annoy me. A couple of weeks ago we had Roxanne Perez versus Rhea Ripley, which got ruined by a DQ, but I still really enjoyed the match. This was another one where I really enjoyed the match and I didn't mind it having a DQ because it made sense. If it doesn't make sense, I don't like it. But this one made sense. However, they do need to stop having DQ finishes every single fucking week. This was Jey Uso's best singles match of his career. I don't care what anyone says. Of his career, this was Jey's best performance ever. Spears looked good for once. Caught Seth out of midair with a super kick, which was awesome. Kicked out of a pedigree. Then the Falcon Arrow reverse by Seth. Curb stomp by Seth. I thought, oh God, Jey's lost. And he kicked out. Braun Breaker tried to get involved. Sami Zayn out of the crowd. Saving the day. And then got speared to death. Understandably, I have no idea how Sami Zayn is back this week. But thank Christ he was. But Braun Breaker speared Sami. Braun Breaker speared Jey Uso. Seth had the opportunity. Bang! Sami Zayn kept him alive though, because he was out on the outside, survived Braun Breaker's second spear attempt. Distracted Seth. Jey hit a pitch-perfect spear. A picture-perfect Uso splash. 1, 2. No, Seth kicked out. Braun Breaker would then hit Sami with another spear. Jey Uso would then get hit with a spear off camera because Paul Heyman was distracting the referee. And then it looked like, yep, Seth had done it. He hit the stomp. And boom! CM Punk's music hits. He's walking out. Then starts running down the ramp with a steel chair. Smashes Braun Breaker in the face. Hits Seth Rollins in the ring. Causes a DQ. Smashes Seth with a chair multiple times. Jey Uso is still the World Heavyweight Champion because of a DQ. And yeah, it makes sense. I don't think Jey pinning Seth clean would have been the smartest decision for this faction. Even though I thought after he hit the spear and the splash, I thought, oh my god, he's going to do it. Which would make Jey look really strong as a champion. But no, Seth kicked out. Super Seth kicked out, basically. But yeah, Braun Breaker would then get clocked by Punk. Punk would then clock Seth and cause a DQ. And you know why it makes sense? It's because Seth and Braun took out Punk a couple of weeks ago on the Raw after Mania. And of course Punk's going to want to come back for revenge. Of course he is. He had to. He had to cause Seth. It makes perfect sense. I get why people are annoyed because it's a DQ finish. But it's a really good match. Being ruined by a DQ finish? No. I think the match was perfect. I think it needed a DQ. It was like some Bloodline Rules kind of shit from WrestleMania 40. I'm interested to see where we go with this next. After the show, Jey Uso did get clocked by Logan Paul, so apparently that feud might still be going on. I don't know. But the match is not actually going to happen at Backlash. There is Saturday Night Main Event in May 24th, I believe. So you could do Jey vs. Logan Paul at Saturday Night Main Event. Which I would assume then means Jey Uso is retaining the championship in a clean match, I would hope. I do believe that Seth Rollins will be the one to take the title off of Jey Uso, whether it's SummerSlam or Money in the Bank, or whether Braun Breaker goes ahead and wins Money in the Bank, and then cashes in and takes off of Jey Uso and then hands it to Seth, because I think Braun will eventually also turn on Seth. However, my ideal thing is Seth holds it, Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble 2026 in Saudi Arabia, and then wins the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania next year against Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker has to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year. CM Punk faces Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania next year. And I mean a heel Cody Rhodes. Those would be the matches I would have for the championships. Plus I would have Braun Breaker obviously busy with Roman Reigns. I don't think you turn Braun Breaker on Seth for a while. That would be stupid. I know in the show that Braun was it looked a bit frustrated that Seth was getting a World Heavyweight Championship shot and not himself. Braun, you selfish bastard, you've just held the IC title for a really long time and held it twice and beat Jey once already. I know you would probably beat Jey again, but just leave him alone. And that was my review of Monday Night Raw. Raw is definitely been the flagship, definitely been the A show for me right now. And then it's NXT. And then it's maybe even flipping TNA and AEW before SmackDown. SmackDown has sucked. I mean, it has sucked. Although last Friday SmackDown probably sucked more because of the releases which happened before the show. And actually, I believe there were a couple during the show and after the show. Which I will get into all on my next video, which will be the WWE Weekly Roundup. Or the Wrestling Weekly Roundup. Because there's a lot of wrestling news. Support my Mariah May could be joining. The stuff like Alberto Del Rio, which I don't want to know. I hope it's wrong. And yes, that is it for this week though. Monday Night Raw was a great show. It's been a great show for a couple of weeks in a row now. Backlash looks mid. I'm excited for Lyra Becky. I think that'll be a great match. Penta Dom, I think it'll be a great match, but I think Dom's losing the belt. Or Finn's turning heel on him. I don't think Liv Morgan's returning. Also, no Monday Night Morgan was sucked. Only issue about Raw. Randy vs. Cena, it'll be a boring match, but look, the nostalgia will just keep me alive during the match, I guess. If I see Travis Scott and I hear the song Fiend again, I will lose my flipping mind in a bad way. Gunter vs. Pat McAfee, I don't know. It could be alright. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I just don't care. It's like a rushed story, but I don't mind it. Maybe Michael Cole gets killed by a Gunter, and that makes Pat McAfee go mental. What's the other Backlash match? I know there's 5. I can't remember the 5th one. See, this is how much WWE put effort into Backlash. I haven't got a flipping clue what the other match is. Oh yes, the United States Championship Fatal 4-Way. Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, and what is it? LA Knight. Look, yeah, maybe Solo cost Jacob. I think there will be at least one title change. Dirty Dom, you're gonna lose your belt. I'm sorry, mate. I don't trust Triple H booking Dom. Unless Liv Morgan returns, she could turn up and just go, fuck off, Benter. Nope. Thank you all though for watching. I know I had no communication. I didn't say anything about why I missed SmackDown review. Yeah, I was just away.